1. Of course you would, you stupid fucking pop-up.
Is recording started?
It has started.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Vamp, and today I shall be playing Mersel, who is giving me radio silence this whole day. I'm joined today by my lovely friend and partner, Babble. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ghost Bitch. I mean Babble. I play Winn today.
God.
I'm sorry, I'm a gremlin. I'm in a very bastard mood.
Yeah, and before you listen to this FPS, it probably would be good for you to listen to the Zen Win FPS and or the Bias Win FPS. But just to get context, but you don't have to. With with all and disclaimer, this FPS might turn out very angsty to people listening, so do check the warnings and mind yourself health. That said, all disclaimers aside, pushes aside. Hey, Babel, how's Win doing?
Everything is hunky-dory, it's fine. Totally doesn't have a small Toby in his pocket. Don't worry about it.
God, God.
He's absolutely 100% fine. Not sweating, not nervous.
And Marcel is currently in the clubhouse. When you enter, I assume you're entering the clubhouse with Toby into your pocket. You hear like
Definitely fine.
yeah, you hear clattering and clinking like in the kitchen.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, he's absolutely not panicking at all. He's not even sweating apparently. He got a nat 20 on deception. Holy shit.
I'm not even gonna roll like Marcel has a +2 inside. He wouldn't be able to see through it. But he Marcel looks up from what he's currently cooking, which seems to be eggs, and he's just, oh, hi Win, where's Toby?
He went out for a few minutes.
Oh, all right. And Marcel, because of that not 20 deception, Marcel doesn't even question it. She just, oh, all right, he probably has something to do back in the studio, and he goes back to cooking his eggs. Yes. So, how was it? Did things go well with what you and Toby were talking about? I mean, it seemed to go well. I'm sorry, me and Prim left in the middle of it to spar.
Oh no, you're absolutely fine, my dear boy. Um we had a nice chat. It was certainly interesting.
I'm glad.
It
I'm
changes
very
a lot of different colors.
He
Is
does,
that normal?
doesn't he? And when you don't have to roll inside, you can see like the little hearts and anime flowers start to bloom around Marcel's head. As like he's just like he just gives like this sigh and leans on the counter like, isn't he amazing? He's just the best. He is just amazing, and I'm really the luckiest guy in the world to have both him and Primrose with me. Uh,
I'm gonna have Win make a wisdom saving throw. That's a 17. He's fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah, and Marcel just like gushes about Toby for a few minutes before he kind of like shakes himself out of it and smiles sheepishly and just, oh, sorry about that. I love him very much. I love them both very much.
My dear boy, you are absolutely fine. I would probably be doing the same if about my husband.
Oh yeah, how is Payne doing? I haven't seen him in that since our last dinner together.
Flash probably to the Win the chimes pain. household where he is probably being bombarded by all four of their daughters and possibly Zan and Nari.
Oh
And we flash back to Winn, and it's just like he's handling it.
That's ominous, but I'm good. I'm glad to hear it. And Rizal kind of like sets down his spatula and tilts his head and goes, "Oh, uh, so is there anything you want to talk to me about? You've just been kind of standing there at the door of the kitchen for a while."
I have. I'm so sorry. And he walks in a little swiftly, and I'm gonna have him roll a perception, see if he can figure out what it is that Marcel's cooking. I think that's an 18.
Yeah,
Well,
Marcel's just like cooking some eggs. He actually has a few other ingredients laid out on the counter as well though. It seems that he's making something that's using bread, that's using eggs, that's using ham. Um it seems to be a croquet madame. I do not know how to pronounce that.
Hello, I am here. It's Croque Madame.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Louis. Not madame.
I'm sorry, I just think that's adorable. I love you guys.
He's like looking at Win and going and he's looking at Win and going uh well, this is the first time I'm making this, but I wanted to make Toby something special for when he comes back.
Do you mind if I help you?
Oh, of course not. And he kind of like shifts a little to like let Win help him with the food.
He is absolutely going to do his best to help. I'm guessing that there's probably a recipe.
Yeah, there is a recipe book open on the counter.
All right. I think he's gonna ask where it is that he is on the
Oh,
recipe and pick up from there.
oh, I'm on this tab, and he taps like he points at it with one finger and goes, this is a pretty quick recipe, so we should be able to finish it in, in a few minutes. Thank you for helping, though. I knew you liked cooking, but I think this is the first time we actually cooked together.
Uh, well, he opens his mouth to speak, and nothing comes out, and then he just he just continues to do what he's doing, unsure of really what to say.
I wanna roll insight.
Go for it.
That's a 16.
He he does want to talk to you about something, and it seems important, but you have no idea why.
And Ursula like kind of notices this, and he lets a few minutes pass. He like cooking and clinking and clanking, and it's only once it's only once the food's more or less finished that he turns to Win again and goes, you can talk to me about anything, right? Can tell you want to tell me something. I don't know why you're so nervous about it, but
This is gonna be made a disadvantage. Because dear God.
that's really good.
uh, he is visibly sweating and he just kind of wheezes a little bit. It's just like,
Here, hold on, Win. And Marcel actually does like offer a hand for Win to like hold, and he's gonna lead Win back to like the living room.
he wants to protest, but at the same time he doesn't. Um, he's gonna quickly set the timer so that way or whatever needs to be set, so that way it doesn't burn.
Yeah. And Marcel sits one down on like I'm assuming in the couch or the pile of pillows and sits next to him and it's just like okay, alright, there is something bothering you. I can tell that much and I won't push, but are you alright?
You can't see the hand gesture that I'm doing for Winn, but he just kind of like fidgets with his hands a bit before looking at Mersel and just kind of doing sort of jazz hands. Like, he's trying.
Marcel actually snorts at the jazz hands who are like kind of playfully nudging Win and going, alright, if that's the way you want to roll. But well, if you need to calm down a little, I can go back to the kitchen and work on it while you sit here.
He's gonna hold up both index fingers as like a 1 minute, and he's gonna stand up and start pacing. Because even though usually you would think that that would make someone more anxious, movement and repetition calms him down more than just being stagnant.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's actually also something of a thing with Marcel as well.
We never discussed this part.
No, we didn't. But Marcel, like, what Marcel calms down more like if he's moving and like doing something with his hands, like pulling at his sleeves or like running a hand through his hair or like playing with his hat than if he were like being like still.
Okay, I'm gonna have him roll hammer space real quick. Thank you. He pulls out his keys and he's just gonna twirl them on his finger.
Mm.
And
And
it's a kind of annoying sound, but it calms him down a little bit more too.
yeah, and Marcel kind of like gives Win the space to like calm down. He's just like giving Win his space. And I'm going to roll hammer space. Oh shit, that's a fumble. Of all the times to fumble, hold on, I need to look for his fumble chart. Oh my god, of all the times to fumble. Okay, let's go. Alright, he reaches into his hammer space. Like, he takes his hat off and reaches into his hat. And then he pulls out a whole ass shower curtain. Like, the kind that's usually, like, in showers and baths. And it looks extremely out of place and looks like something out of an inn. And he blinks at it and goes, oh, no, not this one. And he puts it back. And I'm gonna roll again. Aw, shame. Only one fumble. But he pulls out two mugs of hot cocoa and he sets one down by his side for Win to drink later once he's calmed down and he starts sipping from his own mug.
Well, let's see how well this is helping him calm down, and I am going to make this at advantage this time. God for that. Okay. You can also just do that, then, Dice Parser.
Thank God for that advantage considering that one crit fail.
Yeah. I think he's calmed down enough to at least poke something out. Thing is that he's got to think of what one thing can he say that will move this conversation. Hmm.
Hmm?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Marcel's literally like sitting here and looking at Winn, and he's starting to look more and more concerned by the second.
You know what? Hold up 1 second. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's the decision that you're gonna make. Alright, that's nice. Lovely. He's just gonna blurt out something.
Oh, no.
At this point, that's all he can really do. He's got one chance to say something that'll change things and maybe move it along. And he's gonna blurt out after a moment, clasping the keys in his hands. Almost a fist, but it's not really. It's more like a panicked, these are my comfort items. And I need to grasp them to be a little bit more comfortable enough to do this. Before he looks at Mersel and he just word vomits. So I'm your uncle. And he's just standing there. He kind of did it in that funny way too. His posture is kind of like I don't know how to describe what he's doing. The way that he said it and the position that he's in. But just Windbrain is making my brain go completely ape shit and spin with no words.
Ha. Hmm.
Can I roll an insight, please?
Yes, you and me.
That's a 14.
Yeah, did he season very high for this? Marcel registers that and kind of like takes off his hat and then pulls his hood over his head. And you just hear his breathing just go. The, I mean, the, the, mm, mm, the, the, you, do you, I mean, do you mean that you want to be? Is that what you're, or, what, what you're trying to say?
No. No, I have no idea if you knew that I existed. I don't know what she told you. I'm but I am your mom's brother.
And I'm gonna roll something real quick.
No.
Okay, that's a 17. Okay, you mentioned that, and his frame like kind of like tenses and like his breathing is not good right now. His breathing is like all over the place right now, and he does not respond. Like his hands twitch on his hood, and well, this is out of character because Winn wouldn't know this, but if he had rolled low enough on that was save, he might have pulled his one off. Thankfully, his whiz save is a +5, and he rolled a 17, so that everything is fine. Everything's fine. He's kind of like having a panic attack and disassociating right now, but everything's fine.
Everything is fine. Winn is also panicking. Very much so. He doesn't know what to do. He's just standing there, just like, ah. And Wynn's hands just go directly to his hair and kind of pulling it back because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say.
God,
He's pretty
God.
sure he fucked this up.
No, it's fine. Everything is fine. It's fine. You're just watching trauma that Mersel thought he was over from, like done with. Just coming back full force. And okay, I am rolling to some more with saves.
Oh God.
Okay, 13. You're just standing there, and he and Marcel's breathing kind of slowly but surely like starts to what do you call it? Yeah, it starts to God brain please work. It starts to level out the pit.
Uh, um. Mm. Where is my brain? Uh, certainly not here. Right at this moment. And he starts pacing again. Um, how to explain? How to explain what what has happened? I left. Uh, when we were kids, cause um reasons. I don't know. Uh, not ready to tell that. I left for reasons, and I didn't go back, and I didn't know that your mom hurt me. Okay, and when we were kids, so I left, and I didn't know that she was gonna have kids when she got married, and then then I find out about you, but you had already uh, left their place, and so I've been looking for you to make sure that you're okay, and now you're here, and now I know you, and I just wanted to make sure you were okay, but then you, then then I knew you, I got to know you, then it's words.
So you're so, so you're mm, not here to take r- revenge or bring me back or
No. If you want to roll insight, go for it.
yeah, let's roll inside. Oh, that's a 19.
You see the terror on his face. And that is a kind of terror that that a grown man wouldn't normally have. Never. I would never take you to a place like that.
Why? Why do you? How? Why? Why? And he's kind of like pulling his hood like over his head more, like he's tugging. I, where? How? even find me?
Okay. Okay. Winn's legs give out from under him. But he just rolls with that, and he sits down where he was, shaking a lot. Hmm. I hmm. I don't know. I asked around.
You asked her. No, no, it's fine. Everything's fine.
It's not
Everything's.
fine. I wanted to tell you this from day one. Couldn't. Sorry.
Sal's hands go from his hood to like kind of clutching like the star like pinned on his coat, and he's like turning it around and around and around in his fingers, and like you know when he said that everything was fine, he wasn't actually referring to Win. He was trying to talk himself into it that hey, everything's fine just because this guy who just because Win found you doesn't mean that other people can find you. Everything is fine. You.
No, and I think that he understood that. I think his thing is like it's okay to admit that you're not fine.
Haha. God. Me nervously laughing, and like Ursel's just like turning that star over and over and over again. It's just so you 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 knew from the first from when we first met from since then.
All Win can really do is nod.
The does any the, does does any does anyone else know?
Okay. Ah. Oh god, this is gonna rely on Win's deception. That's 10.
I am gonna roll an insight contest that. Maybe Cell will roll low enough. He's not exactly inciting very well right now. Oh, that's a 21. Oh no.
He shakes his head. Uh, but given how like he starts shaking a little bit more and sweating and glancing at his pocket, like in hopes that maybe somebody like, help. Yeah, no, you know he's lying.
I'm gonna be nice and say that Marcel does not think much about the pocket thing. However, he does like look and he's just you're still lying to me. Uh, is it pain? He did say that you both were childhood friends.
Um, he's known since I've known that you existed. That um,
Oh,
but he won't do anything either. He's not.
yeah, yes.
He's
Okay.
the one that's been in trying to encourage me to tell you, and it's been hard to explain that it's hard to do.
He
I, mm,
he like gives a kind of like bitter like chuckle, and like his breathing's evening out. His breathing's evening out. Like he's still shaking, but his breathing is like evening out, and like he doesn't look as much as if he's like packing disassociating, which was what he was doing earlier, by the way. Like aside from the panic attack and like just the panic in general, he was kind of low key disassociating for a second there. And he's still not fully out of it. Like his voice is still like it's shaking, yeah, but also like kind of like sounds like he's far away from himself right now. He's just like kind of like asking like the questions that he needs to ask. He getting it like kind of over with. It's just so so is that is that why you wanted to mentor me, because you felt guilty?
no, and you don't have to roll an insight on that. It's not.
Then
First and foremost, before anything else, I am a teacher.
teacher, huh? It's just he's just putting Zed in his hands and quietly like leveling his breaths again, and like you can roll an insight on him if you like.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. All right. You know what? I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain.
17. 17. He's feeling overwhelmed. He doesn't really know how to feel right now. He is probably disassociating a fair bit. He is, and he is still kind of shrinking back from you, and like he has not pulled out his wand. He has not shot spells your way, which would have been the worst case scenario in this case. But he is like kind of like he has tucked his like knees to his chest to like make himself look smaller, and he is kind of like shrinking away from you a bit.
I'm gonna roll a d2 to decide what he's going to do here. Okay. That's what you're gonna do. Alright, well then try to force yourself to your feet, dumbass. That's a 15. Alright.
Oh boy.
Um, he looks at you, Mersel, and then he forces himself to his feet, and it seems pretty hard. He's still shaking, but he takes out his wand very slowly so that you see what he's doing, and then he lays it down, and he leaves it where he set it down. As
You
he walks over to you very slowly, letting you dictate
you
how far he's allowed to come close to.
you see like Marcel's like shoulders like tense when he had taken out the wand, and you had definitely seen the way magic had started like pulling at his fingers, because he doesn't need a wand to cast cantrips. But when you had laid your wand down instead, like the magic sparks out, like it stutters and falters and then kind of like dies out. Then he just kind of like it's like all the energies and tensions gone out of his shoulders, and he's just tired and unsure, and doesn't know what to do, but he's letting you come closer.
As he comes closer, and he is still walking slowly to let Mersel again have control of the situation. He is talking, and it's soft. He's trying his best to be warm and comforting as he can be, even though he himself is panicking. I'm sorry I didn't tell you I wanted to, and it's no excuse for not telling you, but I was scared. Not not of you or anything. It's ridiculous. Honestly, I or perhaps it isn't. I don't know.
God. Okay, I'm gonna roll. That's a nat 20. But I'm rolling this at disadvantage, so
Ugh.
that's an 11. Okay, alright. Um, you say all that, and Marcel's hand kind of twitches, and you hear like his voice from like under his hood, and it goes, no, it wasn't, it wasn't your fault. You did, you didn't do, do any, and he didn't, he, uh, you, you
Breathe, breathe.
you you didn't do, and it wasn't your fault. Wasn't your fault. And hey, Winn, wanna roll an inside?
Absolutely. That's an 11.
11. Considering you rolled an 11, I will let it slide with a piece, like just like with just like I'll give you one crumb because that's an 11. You think the words are like directed to you, but he's also like kind of talking to himself for a bit here. And out of character, I just want to mention the fact that Marcel had a lot of like adult figures that like older figures in his life as like when he was much younger to that he cared about, and well, all of them have kind of like not it have kind of failed him in ways like he was a kid and they were adults. Like one of them left him for 4 years. One of them through miscommunications on both sides. They both got estranged for 3 years. One of them just became worse and worse and worse, despite his best efforts to fix things. And one of them also like left without any communication. So he right now he's just like talking to Winn, but also to himself, and telling and saying that it's fine. It's not Winn's fault. Winn could not have expected to know. It's not Winn's fault. It's not. It's not. Everything is fine. It's not. It's fine.
And see, here's where Win pushes a bit. It's not fine. It's. I was wrong. I should have told you from day one. Like I said, the fact that I was scared is not an excuse. You had every right to know from the moment that we met.
Oh, No, you were, and he's like he takes another like shaky breath and kind of like seems to steady a bit, steady a bit, and he pulls the hood down from his face. His hair fluffs out when he says when, but like he he's at least like looking at you now. He's at least looking at you properly now and breathing like breathing pretty steadily, and he's going, "Oh, you were scared. You were scared because you were afraid that I'd react badly."
I don't know what I was afraid of. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps it could have been that. However, that should not have stopped me. It doesn't. You deserve to know. And I think at this point he is probably close enough to where Mersel was sitting, and he gestures to beside Mersel and asks, "Do you mind if I sit down by you?"
That's that's fine.
He is going to take a moment to roll an insight to see if that's really okay.
Yeah, that's a 13. Yeah, yeah, he's fine with you sitting next to him. The fact that you've been asking for permission and like you've been like leaving it up to Cell like to decide where he stands and like giving him the space to do that is actually doing a lot for making this go better than it would have. Because it could have gone so much worse. This isn't good, but it's not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, and I think that he sits at least a foot or so away. Um, and over time he will scoot closer, and again, you know, in a way that will give Marcel time to let him know that is close enough. But for the moment,
So
he's
you
just yeah. Go ahead.
So you you didn't you didn't you didn't know you didn't know about me?
No, I had like I had left. Um, God, how old was I? Pretty sure I was a young teen, 13, 14, somewhere around there. Um, when I had left after, uh, mm, 1d2. Wow, wow, okay, when you were being really open with your eye lately. Alright.
You
Um,
know, I mean, who better to know about his eye than his pupil?
I have to unmute to tell you I will strangle you. Okay, goodbye.
I came up with that on the fly and I am so extremely proud of myself.
I am dying, thank you. Okay, gotta get back into Winn. um,
Yeah. Everyone in the gallery is wants to kill me right now.
um, reason why I left is because your mother. I don't know if you ever had to endure Aina, but I sincerely hope that you didn't. It's part of the
Oh
reason why I
shit.
was looking for you.
Oh shit, yeah. Especially because now that I think about it, Win like Marcel has the same hairstyle as Winn. Winn probably has not seen one of Marcel's eyes this whole time.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, I think at this point, I'm not even gonna make you roll a perception. I think you're close enough to notice that there are tear tracks on his face, but they're only on one side, and it's the side that you can see. Uh, I don't. I sincerely hope that you didn't go through the things that your mother put me through.
I mm,
Uh,
um I think Sol's just gonna reach a hand up and brush like his bangs over that's over one eye, and like he opens his eyes and yeah, he has both of them. They're very much a different color than his mother's or father's because of his pact with the wishing star, but he does have both eyes.
he takes a deep breath. Okay, so that's one deep concern laid to rest. And he puts his face in his hands.
Are are you okay? Are you okay?
Uh, yeah, it's just this is gonna sound weird. It's just good to know that you have both eyes. I don't
Hmm.
have to worry about
I
your
think
mother taking anything from you
oh,
physically.
okay, that's a one. Okay, hey, is Win next to Marcel right now?
Uh, Probably.
Yeah, when you can hear him like you can there's silence for a while, like fraught like silence before he kind of before you kind of feel like a weight over your shoulders, like an arm, and Cel's just pulling you to a little side hug.
Wearing him down. There's a slight uh tense, but then he eases, silently reminding himself that this is Mersel. It's not no danger. It's fine.
God, God, fucking. Okay, that's God. Okay, I'm since God, God, it's really good that Win remembers this is Marcel. Uh, but Cell kind of pulls him into the side hug and no, no, they never hurt me like that. They don't. They never really hurt me. Period. Which you can roll inside if you like on that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
Oh, that's a
strange.
three. As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth. He believes in it.
I mean, I'm assuming that Marcel is on Wynn's right side, so we can't really see him either.
Yeah, and you just have the voice to go by, and he sounds honest. He sounds like he's telling the truth. Sounds he certainly believes in it. He wasn't hurt by his parents, and I'm just gonna go out and say like out of character like he was never like physically abused or really verbally abused because they were not around that much. Like there is a lot to it that I'm not gonna get into now, but he was never like directly hurt, so it's a lot harder to you know to it's a lot easier to rationalize it, which was why it took him so long to finally make the decision to leave. And right now he's just focusing on Win, who is who is like much more like who seems to need who seems to need the help much more right now in the situation. So he's just hugging Winn, and he's just very quietly like pushing aside like his own feelings right now.
You don't need to do that.
Oh,
I'm concerned about you.
I'm I'm
This
I'm
entire time I've been worried about whether or not you had been hurt. And I'm
no
glad
I
that you're okay.
no I
But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you. I'm sorry I made you feel hurt.
you didn't make me feel hurt.
I'm sorry I worried you then.
That isn't something that you could have helped. None of what happened was your fault. And I want you to know I know that he opens his mouth for a moment and then he shuts it. But then he opens it again. I want you to know now that I care very much about you. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you before that I am your uncle. But now that you know, if you will have me, while I know that I wasn't there before, I would like to be there now.
Babble, I'm gonna fucking throttle you because I recognize those words. Wasn't that what Zan told him yesterday?
Yes, good. He can learn. Just takes him a
Yeah.
minute.
And Mersel is quiet, and I'm gonna roll something real quick. Okay, 30-20. Okay. For a moment, Marcel was almost like, of Marcel was almost like you know that thing where someone's clearly like doing really badly, and you just want to like say things to like make them feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're putting like them above yourself. For a moment, Marcel was going to like say like something like he say something like, "Oh, it wasn't your fault. Like, it wasn't your fault. I'm fine. Like, forgive you. Like, everything can be fine." But like, he has actually gotten some character development this past year, and the words don't quite make it out of his mouth, and it kind of sticks in his throat because it wasn't Wynn's fault. It wasn't Wynn's fault that when didn't know Marcel was there, but it's still like it still kind of hurts the fact that he could have had someone when he was a kid. He could have had someone there with him who would not have left. And it hurts that it took this long for Winn to find him. And he knows it's not Wynn's fault, but that and combined with the fact that even just thinking about the fact that they're biologically related still makes him like feel, and also because he knows for a fact that he got his charisma from his mother, and he knows she's a very good liar. He's not able to fully trust Win yet, but he does not want to like lie to him and cheapen all that. He's trying really hard to to remember not to like cheapen his own feelings in this little exchange, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of takes a deep breath before he goes, I I I'm I mm, and he kind of like gives like a frustrated noise as he tugs at his sleeves before going. I don't know you very well yet, but I you have you haven't you've never hurt me. You've never given me a reason to be scared around you. And I I don't know what what having a proper family, especially having a proper blood family. It's like I am learning it with a few other people. I I think I'm doing a good job, even if I wouldn't know, but I don't know. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, but would. I want to. I want to learn it. I want to. I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind learning it with you. And he's kind of there is like a hairline trembling and kind of like he's kind of tearing up a little.
That's the things. His heart, man, it be melting. He want to protect this boy so much.
The boy is trying so hard.
He's doing so well.
Yeah. And
Uh,
he wanted so badly to immediately like tell Winn that he trusted them. Like he wanted so badly to tell Winn that everything can like go like immediately, but he doesn't want to lie. He doesn't want to cheapen his own feelings. And a part of him feels bad that he can't like just accept Winn immediately without any fear. That best he can do is like try.
I appreciate that you are honest.
Thank you.
While we are, well, being honest, you can choose not to continue uh, studying under me, be it for this or for what I'm about to tell you, or for any reason. Like I said, you have complete control over your studies. It is up to you.
He
But
he takes a
I,
deep breath.
a few months ago, I went to a crypt in hopes that there was something in there that would help me find you because that is where the lead that I had at the time led. And I did something foolish and I touched a cursed artifact and it knocked me down to level 1.
Mersel blinks at that. And then figures at and he's actually like is smiling a little as he not quite a smile, like something like just like a tugging of his lips as he like runs a hand through his hair and it's just like, oh, that figures actually.
That figures.
No,
And
I
like Winn doesn't look offended at all. He actually is curious as to how Like, what are you thinking, bud?
Yeah, and Mersel just looks at Winn. It's like, no, it's you you're my professor. You'd like to be my mentor, and I just think it's fitting. And he kind of taps like his the wishing star sigil that he played with earlier when he was feeling kind of like overwhelmed and still pinned to his coat. And he goes, um how much do you know about the wishing star?
Entirely honest, only the things that you have told me.
Well, I told you that she was the goddess of making your own website and hard work in the middle of the story. A plot and better yourself. Well, well, this wasn't always my magic. And, he doesn't really need to, like, explain it further. Like, when you know.
Yeah, yeah, he knows. Sister probably bragged about it to him all the time, and that's when he really decided to be like, bye, and just cut her off.
Yeah. And he's just like, and kind of idly, he goes, when before I left, when I was still 17, I knew spells like power word kill. And when you're a wizard, you're a professor. I'm not gonna make you roll history or arcana for this. Power word kill is a spell that only level 20 warlocks can learn.
He's just listening. I don't think he's really all that surprised.
And he's just like he's just like he's just like he's just like quiet. And he's just like quiet, and he's just like, well, when I well, I was pretty good at magic, if I say so myself. I prodigal. Everyone, that was the best. That was my best quality. That I was so good at magic. And when I left, I still had all that, but none of the spells I ever learned were kind. None of the spells I've ever learned were kind, and the magic itself wasn't kind. It was, well, infernal magic passed on to generations upon generations. That sort of legacy, I didn't want to use it. But, well, when the Wishing Star offered me that pact, it was her magic and chance to get magic for myself, my own magic, without and really define what it means for myself. But the price I had to give up for our pact was all my talent in it, all my talent in magic, and my old magic. So could say that I went from level 20 to level 1.
I, for one, still see an immense amount of talent in you, regardless of whether or not you might believe so. I
So,
also
like,
believe that it takes a lot of. It takes a big man to choose kindness in the face of pain.
Marcel, like, hears that, and, like, he's kind of, like, his eyes kind of widen a little, and his hair fluffs out a little, because, no one's ever said that to him before. Mostly because he hasn't told anyone about this, except for, like, one person, and even that one person, like, like in fairness, that one person like helped said something else to him that helped, but like this is the first time someone said that to him, and like when like I'm not making you roll inside, it looks like his breath has caught in his throat. Like it looks he looks like he doesn't know what to do with your words. Like for all that he's for how kind he is and how like warm, he doesn't look like he still looks like unused to like easy words of affection or praise, especially coming from someone like you, like who's like actually related to him. This looks like some like it's like he wasn't expecting it.
It's easy to fall down the slippery slope of anger and violence after somebody has hurt you. It's a lot harder to actively choose kindness afterwards. And for that, you should be proud.
So takes a deep breath, and he he wants to argue. He wants to say that before he chose to do that kindness, he's done a lot of harm. He wants to argue, but there's also like that part of him, that part that's been growing stronger in the year he spent with friends and family and people who care for him. That's telling him and reminding him in a very soft voice that he was 17. He was younger than even Gil is now. He he was a kid, and he kind of like brushes a thumb over like his own knuckles, and he's just, you should be proud of yourself as well then.
I don't understand quite what for, but I
Well,
also don't really want to argue.
Sal kind of like reads out and goes, well, my he doesn't really want to say my mother, so he's just like, she hurt you, didn't she? And you left, and I don't know very much about what you were like, what the person you were like when you were younger is like, but I know that the wind chimes that I've met, I've met and I've met and keep meeting and keep getting to know again. Well, the one sitting next to me right now, it's never made me feel scared or feel small or feel like I have to I have to be strong. I think you've grown a lot as well.
Marcel, you see very much so a hand slowly, again, giving you control of the situation, reach for your face.
And Marcel lets it.
Wynn's hand gently cups Marcel's cheek, and his thumb lightly dries some tears from that side's eye, and he's just looking at you, Marcel, with the most fond, warm expression of adoration
And
and eternal love.
and privately in Marcel's head, he wonders if this is what uncles and fathers are supposed to look like when we look at their children. And again, this warlock wouldn't know. He kind of like sinks into the touch and kind of like cups like Wynn's hand with his own hands, just very softly going, I, mm, I should introduce you to my I should introduce you to my family. I should introduce you to Veva, to Miss Veva, and Bob, um and and the other side is
That works out pretty well because I have to introduce you to uh well um mm, I may have lost some control of things and adopted and might be maybe adopting uh and
that makes like Marcel like laugh. Like he can't help like the and I will tell you right now, and when Marcel laughs, it's basically like like an evil cackle, but like it's like an evil cackle, but it's like still like warm, and he's just like, oh, you're just like the engineer.
I listen, I don't know what happened exactly. I had my nose in the book and all of a sudden I stumbled over a child. It's fine.
And he's just shaking his head like that's from what I've experienced. Family tends to hit you unawares like a truck. And then he's just like, I'll have to introduce you to and Winn. He starts ticking off on his fingers. I'll have to introduce you to Jack, of course, and then there's Bob, there's Gil, there's Sandy, there's Miss Fava, there's Bond, there's well, you already know Primrose and Tobias, there's Stella, there's Splenda, and he continues ticking. He continues ticking it off.
I think at this point, um, Win is counting on his fingers as well because he has to introduce Mersel to Zan and Nari.
Yeah, and I imagine like in the middle of their counting, like their eyes meet and they both realize how silly they're both being, and then they both just like giggle.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God. Mm. So
And Sal's just, I don't know if I can call you uncle yet, but I, I, I'd love to, I'd love to get to know you better and try.
well, like with your studies, you have complete control of the situation. Move as fast as you wish. I will be here when you're ready.
Thank you. That means more than I can say. And you can roll a perception on the inside. 16. His hand goes like his one of his hands actually goes under his coat and seems to fiddle with something on the inside of his coat for a second there. But and he before he kind of leans his head on Wynn's shoulder, and Wynn would let him, and she just like quietly goes, and but I'll say that you're better than you're better than any family, any anyone I've met as a child. You're better than my parents for sure.
I don't think Win really has anything he can say to that.
The bar is pretty low. The bar is extremely low.
I think he just holds Marcel if he lets him.
And Sal does tense a bit when you hold him, but then he kind of like sinks into it, and he's just like his face is muffled in Wynn's shoulder, and he's just like, I need, uh, I need to go and finish the food, but I don't want to move.
I would carry you, but I don't think I'm not like my dad. I don't have that kind of strength.
Don't you? Don't you wield the sword?
I do wield the sword. I wield a short sword.
You know that
Basically like daggers, but longer.
that's actually fair, and we should we should fight sometime. We should spar in melee. I'm pretty decent with daggers.
I will tell you right now, you are going to kick my ass.
I really should introduce you to Miss Beva. She can teach you how to wield she can teach you how to wield knives. It's it's a good. I used it a lot back when my magic was still pretty weak.
You know what? That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and he's smiling at the thought. Meanwhile, I imagine like it cuts to Viva, and she's just like a shiver passes through her, and she's just my mom's senses are tingling.
And poor Tobias probably being squished in his pocket.
I'm sorry, Toby.
I'm
Toby
so
now
sorry, Toby.
It's
Toby now
fine. Don't
Toby
worry
now
about
Toby, now would be a very good time for you to get out of the pocket and like sneak away before anyone notices while they're distracted. So you can, enter the apartment and be like, hey,
Uh, so fun fact:
yes.
tiny fires last for 24 hours.
Oh my god.
So it's gonna hide for a bit.
I mean, in fairness, Toby, you can probably come into the clubhouse tiny and be like, "Oh, hey, I accidentally ate a tiny fire on my way home," and Marcel would believe you.
It was a prank meant for the engineer.
Yeah, like Marcel would believe you. He'd be like, "Oh, did you eat engineer's food again, Toby?"
Can't believe this.
Yeah, or better yet, just be like, "Oh, Tio or my cousin pranked me and put it in my food."
Yeah.
Oh, this is the stupidest shit, but they would probably invent an excuse like that.
Yeah,
Don't
and
worry about it, it's fine.
yeah,
Don't worry about it. This is fine. Everything is fine.
yeah, I think we can end the FPS here.
Yeah. That's a soft place to end it. It's just them like snuggling and then going to
hmm Also,
finish
Abby's right.
food.
Primrose knows nothing.
I'm
Primrose
so
is out of the loop.
I'm so
Poor
sorry, Prim.
Primrose.
I'm so sorry, Prim. I will say, by the way, right now that Sal's still not gonna introduce Win as his uncle or family. He isn't ready for that yet, but
Mhm.
he will still like introduce Win to like people he knows.
Good,
Yeah.
wonderful. We love to see it.
Yeah, but I am so sorry. I am so sorry. This man with secrets is he. I mean, he wasn't even ready to tell Toby about this. Like, it was just like pure bad luck.
And Tobias is not going to let Marcel know that he knows.
Yeah,
And neither
surely.
is Win.
Yeah, surely this will have no consequences whatsoever.
It's fine. Tobias is a good actor.
It's fine.
Everything is fine. Honestly, it's probably gonna be Win that fucks it up.
Shh.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
Cut to the consequences. Honestly, like the most it would just be like Marcel feeling hurt that they like they didn't tell him immediately.
Yeah, and then we go into an alternate universe where Mersel knew immediately and everything went horrible.
Yeah, like there was literally no winning this.
Yeah, so it's better to feel a little disappointed rather than having an entire crisis.
Yeah, because if Tobias
Yeah,
had been
this is
there,
already a crisis.
yeah, because if Tobias had been there, like actually there, I can guarantee two things. Number one, he would not have actually reacted. Like, he would not have let himself react. He would have used that +8 deception and bury that shit
Yeah,
and make it
but
look like.
that would have been terrible for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been terrible for their relationship as well because,
Mhm,
damn, okay.
mhm.
Yeah,
Man.
it's fine. Everything's fine. We're in the good timeline.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good soft and bound.
Yeah, but I guess we can end the recording here.
Yee, stop and recording.
Uh,